Now, another part on this Mini, and let's hope it goes better than the window. So what we're doing here is a wheel bearing. Now, this has all the symptoms of a wheel bearing. This is a good one to show. The first one is, get my mic closer. Hopefully you can hear how rough that is. When you're in the car, that's going to make a humming noise. The faster you go, the louder the humming noise will get. So that'll give you an idea. The other one is, it moves. So what I mean by that is, there's play side to side, but not only that, there's play up and down. Again, just get the camera closer. Hopefully you can actually see that. So that's all the signs of a wheel bearing. So what we're going to do, it's actually a complete hub. So we need to put the whole thing in, and that's what we're going to do next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip off the wheel. Once I've got the wheel off, I'll turn the camera back on. Right, so what we need to do is we need to take off the caliper and carrier, and we need to take out the center nut for the CV joint. We also need to take off this fella here, which I always forget to do. So what I'm going to do is wedge the disc with the screwdriver, and then undo this. It's a T50 torque. It's not a big deal if you forget about it. It's just easier to do it now because you can wedge the disc easier. What I want to do is take off the pad, or take off the disc and the carrier together if I can. So I'm going to get the screwdriver in and just push back the piston slightly. Make sure I don't damage anything. That should give me enough room, which it does. So now what I'm going to do is take off the 2 bolts for the carrier. I turn the wheel. You're not going to be able to see it, but you're going to get an idea. 260 mils. Get them both undone first. Careful of it. So there's 2 16mm bolts to hold everything together. You get a bungee cord. You can actually put it in through the caliper and just hook it on the spring. And what that'll do is that'll just keep the caliper out the way. It can't put any pressure on here and it can't get damaged. Now we can take off the disc and we can actually see what we need to do now. Now 32mm undoes the main bolt. Now there is a special locking mechanism where you just push the metal in and it locks through, but this is a powerful air gun and it should undo that for me. You do get a new bolt with the kit, so I'm not worried about the bolt. That's where it helps having a really powerful air gun. And you can see this little tab here, that's what pushes down, locks into the groove inside the CV joint. It acts as a lock washer. Now I just can't get the camera in, but just behind here, so here you can see where the 4 bolts are, which is inside the hub. It's right beside the CV joint. I can't get the camera in, so I'm not going to be able to show you, but there's 4 bolts. And them 4 bolts is what hold all this on. Now they do look very, very rusty. The good thing is we get 4 new bolts with the new, but the bad thing is we have to be careful on how we take these off, because if we just maybe get the air gun on them straight away, we could break them. Now if we break them and break the heads off, that's okay. Is if we round the heads, that's a problem. I wouldn't actually mind all 4 heads breaking because then the thing will still come off, but yeah, it just looks very, very rusty. So it's a 13mm bolt. I've turned the wheel to the side so I can get to 2 of them, and then turn the wheel the opposite way to get to the other 2. I just want to make sure this is on properly. So that's the 13mm socket, and here's hoping it'll come off. Now that one is cracked and moved, which is absolutely brilliant. The one at the top, I'm doing this so I definitely know it's home. I don't want to start the bolt off to one side so it rounds. Problem is there now, I can't even get that in. Different extension. Hopefully this extension will work. It's a wobbly bar extension, which is going to help me. And let's hope the bolt. Nah. That's 2. That's come off. I can get to this one here. Or can I? No. Spin the wheel the opposite way now. Now, that's number 3. And yes, that comes off. That's good. To use this air tool, it's not as powerful as the other one. So, you can see it won't even do them. No. That's how rusty they are. But at least they're loose. That's the main thing. At this point now, I don't care if they snap. In fact, it'd actually be better if they do, because it'd be easier for me. No, there's no way of me getting that in. Right, I've got one more to do. I just can't film it. If I have a problem with any of them, I'll turn the camera back on, but like I said, I'm really not bothered about if they snap because I've got 4 new bolts anyway. I'm just going to whip them off with the air gun now and yeah, turn the camera back on. Now, I was lucky enough, I got them all off, but you can see how rusty the head of the bolt was. Sometimes they just are too bad, they round, and it's an absolute nightmare. You have to take the hub off, start drilling them out. It's just an absolute nightmare. Lucky enough we got away with it this time. Could get away with it 10 times, and on the last time you might have to take the hub off. It's just one of them things. But you always want to crack them by hand first. If the head of the bolt snaps, that's okay because it'll all still come out. You just don't want it to round. I have all the bolts out, so I'm going to get the hammer, give it a bit of a slap. Needs to be really kind of tight on. There we go. Now, this is the old one. I'll put it to my mic. You can hear that very, very bad. Now what we need to make sure is the new one has an ABS ring. It's the same width, same dimensions, same everything, same splines, because obviously it won't fit. So as you can see, everything lines up. There's a new ABS ring. You want to be careful not to damage that. There's the ABS sensor. Again, you don't want to damage that. Now, these normally only fit one way. So in other words, when you spin these around, they will physically only line up one way. So, you need to get this in here first and just visually line it up. And have I got away with that the first time? Well, I have. Now, this might go in. This might go both ways. Naughty, naughty. I know what you're thinking. But normally they do only go one way. To get my 4 new bolts, somehow try and get these in by hand. A couple of threads. It can be quite tricky. Now, I've got 2 in there. I get the other 2 on. I'm going to shoot them in with the air gun, but I'm not going to tighten them. Always tighten them by hand, no matter what. No point in filming it, because you can't see it, it's just 4 bolts and boring. So as soon as I got that done, turn the camera back on. Right, so I've done all them 4 bolts, and it's important to tighten them diagonally to make sure it sits in, because the bearing lip is a little bit thicker, so you kind of have to push it in place with the bolts. So do it diagonally to make sure it sits. Another good thing to do is just spin it by hand to make sure it still spins. It's not binding, it's not doing anything it shouldn't do. It is very important. Now we can put this bolt back on. As you can see, we've got a big lip here, and the bolt starts kind of a quarter way down the bolt. This is the bit we need to bend over, which lines up with this hole, which acts as a lock nut. Like always, shoot it in with the air gun. Now we've had the air gun turned the right way. Now I will be tightening that properly once I get the disc on. So we need to line up the hole for the disc thing to go through. Simple enough. Now, slide that on. 2 bolts for it. Line them up. Just shoot them in with the air gun, same again. Tighten them by hand. Wedge the disc with the screwdriver and then tighten this one. There we go. And then just spin the disc round till you've lined it up with a little hole here, and just get a hammer. Your little chisel really. And there we go. That will act like a little lock nut, but also remember you're going to have to press your brakes because we've opened the caliper up, so you need to squeeze your brakes until it is hard. I'm going to bang on the wheel and let's see what it sounds like. Right, so the wheel is on. What we need to obviously do is we need to turn the ignition, make sure the ABS light goes out, take for a drive down the road, make sure the ABS light doesn't come back on, or doesn't come on, sorry, because obviously we changed it, you just need to make sure of that. Most important, I'm going to spin this now and let's see what it sounds like. Try and put the mic closer, and as you can hear, absolutely nothing. So that is absolutely bang on. So that's it. I had to change a wheel bearing in a Mini. Simple really. It's just if them 4 bolts can give you problems, if they do round, you are going to be taking off the hub assembly and drilling them out, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare. But if it's like this, you got away with it, sorted. So look, hope it helps. Thumbs up and subscribe. Check out our forum and our website, and don't forget, most importantly, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one.